Please, Sigmar, hear my prayer. All my life I've done everything you've asked. Our village is cursed, I know. By what fell powers, I don't know. I know the lands have always been cursed around here for decades now, but since the storm, things have become so much worse. We don't have enough food. We've tried to help people where we can at the temple, but we can't help anymore. The high priest tried his best, but the infected, they tore him limb from limb when he went to help them. So it's fallen to me to guide what is left, even though I'm just an initiate. There isn't any food. We didn't have a choice. You've not abandoned us, have you? We're all still so hungry. I don't understand why I still feel so hungry. Even more hungry than I did. Please, Sigmar, don't abandon us. Please forgive us for the sin we have committed. This is Red Moon Roleplaying. The three of you have to squint a little to see what is actually going on outside this doctor's house. After all, the windows are all boarded up, but you can just make out something. There seems to suddenly be an awful lot of armoured individuals in the village. Even from here, Heinrich, you think you can see at least 10 to 15? Not a small amount, that's for sure. They seem to be near that inn building. You think you could also see someone on a horse, a white horse, but it seems hard to see who that is. They seem to be wearing some sort of cloak. And there's some commotion at the inn. Someone is yelling something, and some of these guards seem to be dragging someone out of the building. What do the three of you do? None of this is focused on you, it seems. For that you're grateful, but something is definitely happening outside.
And Heinrich will turn with a lack of subtlety and say, "Can you explain what's going on out there?"
It is that time. I suppose Lady Wittgenstein has come down from the castle to see if there's anyone she can bring up to the castle. That is where we have been keeping some of the most severe cases, you understand.
I understand why they would need convinced. What I don't understand is why a noble would risk themselves bringing the infected back to the castle. I haven't met too many nobles in my time, but as I understand from stories, the primary focus of the nobles in times of crisis is to isolate themselves from that crisis behind their very thick walls and armored guards.
Ah, my friend, well, that is where you are wrong. Lady Wittgenstein is an angel. She is the one who is directly making sure we can cure this thing, or at least study it. She takes many of the most severe cases to the castle itself. She cares deeply for the people of the town. She is très magnifique, as you can see.
It will come as no surprise to anyone, given the history of this little coterie, that I do not trust this man based on his affinity towards the nobility. Can I roll intuition here to see if there's maybe more to what he's saying?
You certainly can.
No, that is a 90, and I don't think I want to know hard enough to risk fortune, so I suppose I'll take him at his word.
Indeed. Well, you don't really know. He could be lying to you, of course. The nobility normally do exactly as you said. But at the same time, he seems quite happy to tell you this. And as you look outside, whatever's going on seems to be calming down a little. Someone has stepped off the horse. They're trying to comfort someone. There is a young man who doesn't seem that addled. He's whimpering a little. There's someone from the inn saying something along the lines of, Not him! You don't need to take him! And then someone sort of raising a hand, gesturing, and saying loudly, I understand. It is hard for us all. But I need ones who are healthy to help the ones who are sick. Worry not. He is going to help so many. So many. And the commotion dies down a little, and it seems that whoever this person is being put on the horse. And then the person on the horse seems to start riding away. As this happens, the doctor comes over and says, You see, it is hard, but We all need to do our best. We are in a very dire situation, as your doctor has herself noticed. But we will get through this. We will get through this in time. Speaking of which, I haven't even gotten your name, Doctor.
As I say, I'm a physician. My name is Sigfrida.
Doctor, physician, same words, different things, I suppose. If you are keen, I will be honored to, if we go to the guards right now, give you an introduction, and perhaps you can visit the castle. Lady Wittgenstein would be dying to meet another physician.
I look to my companions. This sounds like a trap, but at the same time we do want to get into that castle.
My eyes are wild and skeptical. I'm brave. I'm not suicidal. My curiosity does not rise to the level of handing myself over to someone who is collecting healthy bodies to help the sick people. Speaking primarily as someone who has a healthy body.
You see me looking quite hesitant, would perhaps be the word, and kind of backing away a little bit, just ever so slightly.
You back out into the corridor. The old woman has gone. She seems to be sweeping somewhere in the house, but you notice the man with the rifle is still there, still keeping it on you, very careful.
I stop there and I just await what will happen next.
I feel like I must decline your very kind offer, Doctor. It seems like there is something dreadfully amiss here in this village beyond what was already apparent, and I'd rather not involve myself with it.
Strange thing for a fellow physician to say, but very well, no one is forcing you to do anything, of course, my dear.
Well, what exactly is happening to the people that go up to this castle, exactly?
She is doing her best to help them. I do not know, I do not go up there as much as I would like. I have to be here after all. If I went up there myself, who would be here to give out the medicine?
So the people who go up there, when they emerge, are they always healthy?
He pauses for a moment, and then sort of shrugs and says, I am very busy, and if you do not wish for the introduction, well then I do have work to do, so if you wish to come back later and reconsider, that is fine, but I do have things to be doing.
I bite my lip. I don't like the look of these people outside, I don't like the fact that there's a rifleman. I don't like the offer to the idea of going up to this castle where gods know what happens up there, and yet I'm also faced with the fact that if we want answers, the person most likely to have them is probably the individual in the castle, just like I said before. Fine, I will take the introduction, and I will take it gratefully. I will not, however, oblige my companions to follow me up there if they don't wish to.
Well, slow down, young lady. I don't know if the lady will see you immediately or not. It looks like she's just riding out now. If you are sure about the introduction, I can go and summon the guards right now.
Well, in for a brass coin, in for a gold. Let's do it.
With that, the doctor rushes out of the house. Not in a massive rush, just a quick rush. And calls out loudly, Oh, one moment, my friends! He goes right past you, Kruger. What do you all do? You notice that he's definitely drawn attention to you now. Whatever happens next, well, now would be the chance to do something about it before people and guards are heading in your direction.
Well, we are currently we're unguarded because of the distraction of him running out, I assume.
In that office, yes, not outside.
I look to my friends. I'm sorry, I made that decision rapidly. I just thought, how else are we going to get these answers? But if it was a mistake, if we need to escape, now is our chance.
I can't be mad at you. I can't say I followed you into worse, but I've at least followed you into equivalent.
Hey, it'll give us some answers at the very least. Don't have anything else.
Unless, of course, these people, as starving and infected as they are, decide they want to storm the building for healthy bodies.
Yes. Indeed, you're right.
But on the flip side, I couldn't see a way that we could have fought out of this situation if we hadn't accepted the introduction. So we will take whatever the fates throw at us, as we always do.
Indeed.
I will make sure that I am armed, just in case some idiots decide to storm this building.
Well, in that case, as you're all discussing this, you hear movement outside. You'll see immediately, Kruger, that 15 guardsmen are now approaching you, slowly. Weapons at the ready, but they're not drawing them. The doctor is waving, and the figure on the horse begins trotting back. You see a lot of people. Well, not that many people. You see some of those beggars from before kind of skulking from the shadows, but they keep their distance. And you see some people from the inn kind of... There's a couple of people who were there, it seems, but they're heading back in quickly and closing the doors. And Rena is not here. Look around to the left, to the right, and Rena seems to currently not be in sight. But that might be a good thing, you think to yourself.
Yes, it might be. I'm sure she's safe. Alright, well, let's see what this leads to.
Then all three of you find yourself suddenly outside the door. Again, behind you, a man with a rifle, but he just slinks back a little. And the doctor waves as this figure begins to approach on the horse. What is it, Dr. Rousseau? I'm very, very busy. Oh, mademoiselle, my dear mademoiselle, you would not believe it. The people who have come into town, one of them is a doctor. A doctor? The figure on the horse looks towards you, Sigfrida. It appears to be a woman. Can't really make out their features. They're wearing a hood, but they seem to have a sort of necklace on them, a brooch, some sort of symbol, maybe a wolf's head. Don't know what that means. The brooch is very finely made, though. The cloak is purple and very, very expensive looking. She is riding this horse. You also immediately notice, as she comes forward on the horse, that the young man is currently riding on the back of it, looking very concerned. And of course, the 15 guards. Several of them are armed with crossbows. 4 of them begin just gently getting their crossbows out and holding them to the sides and surrounding the lady on the horse. The others begin flanking you on the left and right. You're not exactly completely surrounded, but you definitely would be in trouble if, for example, you tried to just rush these people.
Well, that wasn't the first thought on my mind, thankfully. I will call out, I am a physician of the guild. Please lower your crossbows. There really is no need to be brandishing arms at us.
A man steps forwards. At least you think he's a man. He sounds masculine. He's wearing a very odd helmet. He's wearing some sort of white porcelain mask that seems to be attached to the helmet, so you can't quite see his face. It looks very weird. He's got a very big sword as well, as he says, I'll give you another chance to pay the lady her respects, or those people with the crossbows are going to be filling you all full of holes. You don't make the demands around here, my... Now, Doppler, no need for that. The man kind of frowns and looks down, and the woman looks forward and says, I'm sorry, they can't lower their weapons. It's not safe, and it looks like one of you has a pistol. I wouldn't want to get shot.
Well, unless one of my party mates has got some great idea for how to disable multiple crossbow wielders at once, I don't really want to turn my back on them and try running.
That seems wise to me. What do you do?
I'll raise my hands in surrender.
Heinrich Kruger, what are you doing?
Follow the lead of Sigfrida, then, seeing as how the odds are definitely stacked against us.
Yes, I have no need to provoke a fight by being obstinate, so I'll leave my hands exactly where the crossbowmen can see them, and a very safe distance away from my own armaments.
The man, apparently called Doppler, nods his weird face and says, it's better, isn't it? Now, Doppler, no need to be rude. Hello. Forgive my manners. I am Lady Wittgenstein, of the Wittgensteins. Did you say you were a Physician's Guild doctor?
I have a certificate proving my credentials. I am a physician, yes. Though, having seen some of the mutations, at least one, that are in this village, I'm not sure what assistance my medical training can be. I would be happy to discuss with you in private, away from the street and the peasantry.
Oh, well, that would be wonderful. Yes, it would. Oh, but I am so very, very busy. But no, my friend. The woman extends a hand, very thin, very pale hand. That would be wonderful. You must come to the castle when you can. I will tell the guard, Lieutenant Doppler, if the young lady and her friends wish to come to the castle, they are welcome. We must prepare. Though we must prepare. We shall. Yes. But I would love to talk to a fellow. I am not a guild physician. I cannot go. I am of the nobility here, but I have studied. I have studied. And a fellow woman as well. It would be so wonderful to speak with you.
Yes. Well, we barely know each other. Let's not take each other's hands yet. But if you will receive my friends as well in your castle as guests, and this isn't a demand, I say, looking over at Doppler. But if you would be so kind as to extend your hospitality to them.
I certainly would. Certainly. Now, if you'll excuse me, though, I must get this young man back to the castle for now. But when you are ready, yes, I shall tell the guards for you can come to the castle. We would be honored to have you for dinner. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, my lady.
The woman turns abruptly then, turns her horse. You see this young man, kind of grubby, sort of look at you pleadingly for a moment, and then the horse begins to ride off. As it does so, several of the guards begin slowly withdrawing, although this man with the mask kind of just looks you all over in passing. You lot by any chance come by the boat that just came in?
What's it to you?
The man looks forward and tilts his head. Well, I don't know. What is it to me? It's a quarantine zone, you know, my friend. All boats are going to be get reprimanded and taken back to the castle. Well, looks like that's what's happening right now. He turns his head. Heinrich, there's 10 more of these guards by the docks, by the boat. What do you do?
I'm trusting the crew of the Beerbell to not do anything silly. I do feel, of course, a pang of guilt that they've gotten into this situation because of our adventures, but now is not the time for rash action. At this point, even suggesting that I have reason to go there might flag their already heightened suspicions. And if nothing else, I think it's safe to assume they're taking us all to the same place. So I will be in touch with my fellows soon enough.
As you look silently, this Doppler cranes his head. Very oddly he cranes his head. It looks a little unnatural for a moment. Well, I suppose if you're not with that lot, then, well, it doesn't really matter then. As the lady said, you're welcome to come by the castle later for dinner. I guess we'll see you then.
Alright, you've used the word unnatural to describe this gentleman.
The way his head moved a little, yes.
Is there cause for a lore undead roll or even a perception check to see if there's something eerie going on here, aside from accent and posture.
You could roll lore undead for me.
That is a 19 under 44.
Well, you were told that not all undead are shambling and mindless. Some undead apparently are capable of speech and forethought. This includes things such as vampires or necromancers who've extended their life expectancy. Now, to be fair, none of that seems evident from this individual right now. His neck's moving a bit weird. You haven't really heard that being something specific to any undead creature. It's certainly unpleasant, though.
Then I will file that under a way of something else to make the hairs on the back of my neck rise. My neck, which does not move suspiciously. And I might be reconsidering just how politely I'd like to go along with these things once we're in the castle, perhaps when we are not so severely outnumbered.
You do notice as you're thinking that they seem to be leaving. As in, they're leaving the three of you alone. They're not escorting you anywhere. In fact, if anything, they're moving towards the boat. You suddenly find yourself thinking, oh, they didn't mean they're taking you to the castle, they meant you can come to the castle at your leisure.
I thought that was just a sarcastic euphemism and that we were being taken into custody.
No, it seems not. Although as you're thinking that, there is a little bit of a shout from the boat.
But that being the case, I would reconsider my previous course of action. That if we're not being guarded, then there's all the reason to be charging towards the boat just as soon as no one is looking in our direction. And if Sigrid gets one, make the three of us follow her lead, then I suppose I'm also due one, right?
Certainly.
I'll at least give them the courtesy of a look in their direction, eyes back to the boat, hope that they understand exactly what my thought process is here, and not breaking into a sprint, following our precept of not attracting attention. I will still be making all reasonable haste towards Josef, Walda, and the others.
Then Heinrich leads the way, clearly wanting to quickly get back to the boat. What do the other two of you do? Do you follow?
I certainly do.
Then you do so, quickly moving down the roads, quickly heading to the boat. There you see the 10 guards, and another 10, as well as 5 more approaching from where you just were. You see 8 of them are on the boat. Walder, Grimm, and Josef are down on their knees, hands bound. It seems as if Josef has taken a very bad punch to the face. The boat is being moored off and being rowed away by these 8 people now on the boat, as the other ones stay by the docks. You see Josef just look up a little as you finally arrive on the scene, Heinrich. What do you do?
So just for my clarity, of the guards who have showed up, 8 of them are on the boat taking it somewhere else.
Yes.
And 3 of them are ashore with the crew.
No. The 3 crew are on the boat. The 8 people are on the boat with them. On the shore are 3 other guards, but also they're being joined by 10 more, and 5 more are coming lazily behind you from the direction you just were. There's a lot of these guards.
Well, that definitely puts a pin in the plan that I had. God, is there any way I can see where that boat is going or could make a reasonable guess? It wouldn't strike me that they're going to take it upriver and take on the river-faring life. There has to be another dock or a pier or something where they plan to impound it.
Certainly. It's very easy to see where they're heading. There's only one place they could be. The castle. Unless they're planning to row them all the way back to Kemperbad, which you think is highly unlikely.
No, and more to my question is the dock attached to the castle something that you can reach without first going up the castle cliff and then down the castle wall?
Sadly, you have no idea. You remember seeing a bit of the castle in the water as you came, but you didn't see more than that. To find that out, you'd have to go and properly investigate the area and investigate the castle, which you don't have time to do now. You see Josef just giving you a look. You know the look. He's telling you, don't do something stupid.
I'm giving him the look back that says I make no promises. And to that, I will then catch up the party with my line of reasoning here.
You do so, and as you do, again, those guards from behind just lazily come behind you, and that man with the mask gives a curious tilt of his head. What do the 3 of you do? You're not being attacked, but it's clear what's happening. The boat and the crew are being taken away.
Do you think at this point we could just go about like we're minding our own business? That there was a flight of curiosity and now we're off to something else?
If that's what we do, we need to get straight to the castle. There's clearly something... Not that we knew there was something deeply wrong going on in this village in the first place, but now the situation compels us to act. And they're going to be taken to the castle, regardless. We need to get up there and stop whatever's going on. And I'm sure I wasn't the only one that picked up the rather sinister and, if not completely transparent nature of "I look forward to having you for dinner."
No, subtlety does not appear to be these people's strong suit. I will turn my eyes to Kruger and to casually invite him to lead us down the most appropriate alleyway.
Agreed. I say, let's get there as quickly as we can then. And what is the best way to get there and remaining relatively unseen while doing so?
Get where? The castle, or just somewhere out of the way in this village?
We have to get to the castle, right?
Really difficult. You have no idea. You'll have to initially start walking its direction and have a look. Until then, you have no information. One thing's for sure, a castle with guards, especially in the middle of the day, really difficult, Kruger. You seem to recall that castles are designed to not be easy for people to just walk into. Although you do have an invitation.
That much is true.
As you're thinking on what to do, some of the guards do seem to be ambling off, but just 5 with this man come, and he does just look at the direction of the 3 of you and say, "Well, that was funny. You 3 seemed awfully concerned for a moment there what was happening with that boat you didn't come in on."
This was precisely the conversation I was trying to avoid by making an expedient exit.
I mean, you still can, but he's called out to you.
And it's even more suspicious if we leave now. Heinrich being more clever than I am in the moment, is there a convincing enough lie that I could roll my way into to avoid further awkwardness?
As Heinrich says this to you, Kruger, well, yes, you can come up with hundreds of lies for getting away from the guards. Sort of something he used to do an awful lot.
Yes, it was. I try to jog my memory for something that might help in a situation like this.
Well, you start trying to think of what's actually going on here. Wait, didn't they say something about Sigrid and her friends being bandits? Maybe you could say you're bounty hunters. You came in by the road, and you're bounty hunters, and asked for work, and then you can kind of just get the work and move on.
Oh, well, I say then. Clearly you're one of the sharper ones. You've seen through our attempts at disguise. I suppose it's just as well that we come clean with someone like yourself. We're here looking for people. We're here looking for a bounty, actually.
A bounty?
There's a priestess, isn't there? One that's been causing trouble, killing guards and such. Nasty business, right? We're here to take care of that problem for you.
Well, that's awfully nice, although I do wonder how you found out about that. Well, if you do find some individuals, and you bring us their heads, I suppose, yes, then the lady and the baronet would reward you handsomely.
That sounds very promising. Very promising indeed. That is, after all, while we're here, might help bring some peace to this place. Seems to be in grave need of just precisely that.
He laughs, a very throaty laugh, and some of the other people do as well. Their laughs sound very strained, very throaty. You also notice at this point that everyone has a closed helm. It's a bit of an odd thing to have noticed, but yes, all these guards have closed helms. You can't see their faces. Well, I suppose that's that then. You were invited.
Your lucky day, otherwise I'd haul you all in. But if you weren't with those people on the boat, you understand, of course, quarantine. They didn't pay the docking fee. They're gonna have to take that up with the lady.
Yes, of course. Rules are rules, after all.
You'll all be under quarantine too. Best go see the doctor before you leave.
Of course. Yes. Must not allow this to spread anywhere else.
He looks to his men. He looks to you. And the 5 of them begin walking off. You hear a horn sounded from somewhere. Again, like you heard earlier. It seems these guards are beginning to leave the village. You see, actually, from the corner of your eye, that at the very outskirts of the village, near the wooden palisade, they seem to be exiting altogether, heading up to what must be the main road to the castle.
I sigh and look to the others. Well, that went well.
I consider it a success that we're not on a dinner table or in a stockade.
Well, give it time.
Yes, this is very concerning. I really hope that they're all right.
As I said, we need to act as soon as there aren't any... Well, I appreciate there are going to be eyes on us at every waking moment in this bloody place, but movement, we need to move, we need to get a handle on this situation now. We don't know what's going on up at that castle, but let's be honest with ourselves. The longer we delay, the longer we question people in the village, the worse things are going to get for our friends.
No, I lack Sigfrida's scientific mind, but I do understand, what was the word you used? Correlation.
Right. Well, unless we think we can get a hold of Sigrid and her merry band of rebels or whatever they are, I suppose we'll have to try and make our way as unseen as possible into the castle, perhaps after it's gotten dark. Can we wait that long?
If we had a proper idea of where Sigrid and her merry band of rebels were, we might be able to lead an entire rebellion against this baronet, but right now all we know is they're somewhere in the woods. We could go to the inn and try and find information, but again, that's time that's wasting, so I am not a tactician. All I know is that right now, the bleeding wound is what's up in that castle. If you think that it is going to make more sense for us to take our time, strategize, build alliances, and then go up there and force, then fair enough. But right now, what compels me isn't Sigrid. And if this band even exists now. It's that the people we've been sailing with for the past, I don't know how long, are in, well, quite literal mortal danger.
You hear a bit of a rustling sound behind you then, Kruger. You turn, panicked for a moment, only to see Rena emerge from behind a barrel. Her daggers were in her hands, ready to be used. She looks to the 3 of you and bows her head. Fuck! I'm sorry, Heinrich. I was trying to get round and warn them, but then I got cut off. And then, okay, I was ready. I was fucking ready to stab one, but then you didn't. I thought maybe don't attack first in case you guys aren't going to. I'm so fucking sorry. Shit.
It's fine. But believe me, no one's going to blame you for not acting out of desperation. We were clearly outnumbered, and the problem can yet be solved.
They said some bollocks about boat permits and quarantines. I saw Joseph, he tried to talk to them and then they punched him in the face and then they got on board quickly and they had crossbows. Oh, shit.
We'll make sure that they get what's coming to them for that behavior, and no number of permits was ever going to solve their desire to keep that boat impounded. I'm presuming at this point that you have heard the conversation so far.
Mostly. I didn't really hear what was going on with that weird doctor person, but I saw all these bloody guards. I'll tell you what, those aren't the sort of guards people like. And I know, I'm from Nuln, but I mean, something is very wrong here.
No offense to you and Kruger, I presume you would know the good guards from the bad guards better than most. But what I'm hoping you also know, and I'll turn for a moment to Sigfrida, is how, rather than seeking out a merry band of rebels, we might be able to get a merry band of rebels to seek us. You said we were being watched, right?
Yeah, we were. Actually, yeah, that's right. And if what they're saying is even remotely true... You see what I said? That they missed stuff out of that stupid church. If there are people... One thing Sigrid does is she looks after people. You know that, Kruger. She came here to help. So maybe if she came here to help, maybe the people who are with her are the people she was helping. That would make more sense. Don't you think so, Kruger?
I think you're right. Yeah.
If nothing else, we've seen how the guards operate. They don't strike me as wait-in-the-shadows kinds of people.
No, that's true. They are very direct.
Okay, so Kruger, if there's a friendly gang on your turf, how do you get their attention without getting everyone's attention?
It's tricky, Kruger. The situation here is tense. Clearly, these people are all considered criminals and wanted. You just heard there's a bounty on their heads. That would mean you would keep very, very low and very, very secret. You realise you've just got to try and find someone who does know something and kind of convince them that you're on their side. But what sort of people would that be? Well, it wouldn't be the doctor. It doesn't sound like it's the people at the temple. But maybe someone else? Someone poorer is normally the sort of people these people flock to in these scenarios.
Yes. There might just be someone, perhaps at the inn, or thereabouts, that might know something. Someone a bit lower in society, someone with a lot less to lose, perhaps. Perhaps we can locate someone like that. They might be able to help us. It wouldn't have to take long. Just have to give it an attempt. If we could get the support of Sigrid, then, well, it would mean that we would be more likely to get through this alive. Just the three of us trying to get into that castle by ourselves. I don't like our odds. I look to Rena and I say, what do you say? You and me, we see if we can scout around and see if we can find some folks like the ones we used to hang out with. And Heinrich and Sigfrida, you can perhaps make your way towards the inn and see if we can find anything. And then if we exhaust those leads, we make our way to the castle.
Then let's do that. I will follow your lead, my captain.
This is firmly within your area of expertise, so I'm at your service.
So is the plan for you and Rena to sort of skulk around the town a little, while Heinrich and Sigfrida try and approach this inn?
That is the plan.
Well, then, Sigfrida and Heinrich, you'll begin making your way to what you assumed was the inn. Again, the streets are empty. Once more, all the commotion from earlier has died down. It must be midday now, and yet still this place seems at times like a ghost town, even though you keep seeing evidence that there are people around watching you. Kruger and Rena, on the other hand, you start just kind of going around to the outskirts of the palisades, looking around. You do notice on the way, Kruger, you see some people coming back from what looks like some of the farms. They're further to the north west of town, but they still seem to exist a few fields, though they're hurrying very quickly with a very, very meagre looking bit of grain, and when they see you, they rush to a farm and quickly close the doors behind them. Maybe don't talk to them. You do notice that one of the mills is working still. 3 of them aren't, but one of them is still turning. That's interesting. And it's just as that's happening that you hear a voice from a building above you. A barn of some kind, just sort of whisper out. And the voice, sounds like a young woman's voice, says, "Doing an awful lot of snooping around, aren't we?"
You could say that. Who are you? I say, looking up.
You see Rena reach for her daggers and kind of give you a bit of a look like, are we going to attack this person or talk to them? Kind of look.
I try to give her a reassuring look that we don't have to employ violence just yet.
I saw you all going up to the temple. You must be mad.
Well, when you're looking for people who are important to you, you sometimes do things that are not always the smartest.
They're not good people at the temple, not anymore. You're lucky to have walked out of there.
But there are still good people in this town, right?
Who are you? Why have you come here? This place is doomed. You shouldn't have come. They've already taken your friends by boat.
We're looking for Sigrid. Can you help us find her?
Who says I know anything about that? How do I know I can trust you?
You're a good person, aren't you? So are we.
And I also saw you talking to fucking Doppler and saying something about bounty hunting.
Yeah, that was a good lie, wasn't it? I don't know, it seemed to work on him anyways.
Rita steps forward and says quietly, "Oh, so I'm the fucking sister, so please. Sister. Really? What?"
She is. That's why we're here. We need to find her sister. She's apparently in trouble. And, well, a lot of people are in trouble here, seemingly.
Too right they are. Her sister's in less trouble than you. If anything, you're the ones who are in trouble, not her, not us.
Us? Are you with her?
A pause. All right. You need to do a test first. Someone from the top of this building throws down a bag. You look inside the bag. It seems to have berries, various foliage from the forest, maybe? Stuff you could eat. Take that to the inn. I'll be watching. We'll see how trustworthy you are.
What should I do with it?
Give it to the people at the inn, of course, stupid. They need food.
Oh. Alright. That makes sense. Sure, I'll do that. And what, come back?
I'll be close by. I'll be watching.
Alright.
If you breathe a word to anyone or you alert the guards, then I'll know who you really are.
Oh. You don't have to worry about that. Alright, well, it's time to get going then. See you, at the inn, I suppose. Come on, Rena. And I begin making my way towards the inn.
And so the pair of you begin making your way to the inn where the others have already gone, carrying this bag with you. As you move through the village, Rena just comes to your side for a moment. Really sorry about all this. This is a fucking mad situation. I shouldn't have made you come. I'm sorry. I don't know what's going to happen to Heinrich's friends.
They've gotten through a lot so far, and they're a sturdy bunch. I'm sure they'll be able to get through this as well. And we're gonna get them out of this trouble. And you know, if my hunch is correct, Sigrid might even be able to help us.
Well, I mean, yeah, if she's actually leading a bunch of people, well, a bunch of people would certainly make breaking into a castle a lot easier, you know?
It sure would.
She nods and she follows you. The pair of you begin making your way to the centre of town, where Sigfrida and Heinrich have already gone. Things have taken a dark turn. You don't know what's going to happen to the crew of the Barabel, and whatever happens to them is tied directly to you. You no longer have a boat, meaning, in a way, you don't really have an easy way of escaping this situation. Still, you have your freedom for now. For now.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the legendary campaign The Enemy Within for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition, published by Cubicle 7. In this second part of the series, we are tackling Book 2, Death on the Reich. Joining us as players in this series are none other than Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games and our dear friend Matthew Dawkins. The music was made by Flowers for Body Snatchers, Wordclock, Metatron Omega, Aeger Sonus, Apocryphus, Halgrath, and Northumbria, featuring a number of collaborations with other artists, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia, Raulerson, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Antxon, Graham Barey, and Daniel for their generous support. We would of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that Skaven are definitely not real.